from Nevada. And Congresswoman, what do you make of the reaction that Rich McCormick, who won his district by 30 points, had on the ground at that town hall? And what are you hearing that is or is not similar in your district?
Well, I think he deserves all of the pushback that he's getting, and his argument that it's the same as Biden, or that these people are the equivalent of the January 6th folks who invaded the Capitol is just not ringing true, even with people who may have voted for him to start with. We're hearing it in Nevada, too. We're calling it the Valentine's Day Massacre. All these people who are being cut, who are just hardworking public servants doing their job, serving the public. If he gets rid of all these people, who does he think's going to put out your Social Security check? Who's going to deliver the mail? Who's going to do all those things that we take for granted? And I think it's going to come back on him from his own folks.
You know, when I saw this town hall, the video of it overnight, it made me think back to the Tea Party situation back in 2009, 2010. I don't know if this will be as sustained, this anger, but there were town halls back then with people yelling at their members of Congress. If I remember correctly, you were in Congress, then out of Congress for a second right around that time. You probably heard a lot of heat like that. So is this the type of thing that could develop into that type of emotional response?
Oh, I think it may be even greater than that. At the time, that was all about Obamacare. It was something new. People were worried about government controlling their health care. At the same time, they wanted to keep their Medicare, of course, but that's where that was focused. Yeah, I did Congress on the Corner events. People would pull up in pickup trucks with bullhorns and try to get us, just attack us generally. But that was one issue. This is a lot of people losing jobs, a lot of services being cut that people rely on day to day. Look at what they're doing to Medicaid. You see what is proposed in those budgets to cut Medicaid. Nevada is a state that relies heavily on that with the service industry. A lot of people don't have benefits. You cut that, you cut the subsidies to Obamacare. These people are going back to the emergency room. So it's going to be all across the board, and I think it will be sustained.
Yeah, we will see. We will have to keep our eye on that. We have a little bit of breaking news that I want to get your reaction to. So the U.S. Special Envoy to Ukraine, Keith Kellogg, just met with President Volodymyr Zelensky. Actually, they had the meetings yesterday, but he just put out a statement about the nature of their meetings. And it's pretty interesting how he words this. He says, a long and intense day with the senior leadership of Ukraine. This is what he wrote on Twitter. Extensive and positive discussions with Zelensky, the embattled and courageous leader of a nation at war, and his talented national security team. The embattled and courageous leader. That's coming from Keith Kellogg, the envoy to Ukraine. That language is a whole lot different than calling him a dictator, which is what President Trump is doing. Your reaction?
Well, that's right. President Trump has personally insulted Zelensky and then tried to extort him for a big percent of the rare minerals and resources that Ukraine has. They tried to walk it back a little, but then President Trump walked it forward again. You'll notice that Kellogg in the past has been pretty hawkish on Russia. But the interesting thing is there was no press conference after the meeting, which is like kind of giving the finger in diplomacy. And also Kellogg was not invited to the beginning of the so-called peace talks that Trump is trying to put together with Putin in Saudi Arabia. So that says something about what the priorities are and who's really in charge.
Congressman Michael Waltz, your former colleague, Michael Waltz, is now the National Security Advisor. I just want to play you some of the language that he used from the White House on Zelensky. Listen.
Look, President Trump is obviously very frustrated right now with President Zelensky. The fact that that he hasn't come to the table, that he hasn't been willing to take this opportunity that we have offered.
Of course, former Congressman Waltz used to be very supportive of Zelensky and very supportive of the Ukrainian war effort against Russia, sounding a little bit different now. But given how people inside the White House are sounding, do you think the special envoy, Keith Kellogg, needs to worry that maybe he won't be special envoy for very long if he keeps calling Volodymyr Zelensky courageous?
Well, Trump certainly has reined in not only Walz, but also Rubio, who used to be strong against Russia in Ukraine. So Kellogg will either be pushed aside or be pushed out. Wouldn't be surprised. Don't forget, all this is insulting and alienating our European allies, too, and kind of the rejection of NATO and this cozying up to Putin with the phone call, saying he wants him back in the G7, G8, saying they're going to visit each other. That is another sideline that's going on.
All right, Congressman Dina Titus, thank you for talking to us this morning about a wide range of issues. Have an excellent weekend.